Hello, my name is Alex Hagan. I am an armchair power structures analyst. My credibility is that I am the CEO of a medium small tech company. I've worked in engineering and research in wireless IP telecom. I specialized in data modeling and certain types of systems AI. So I can use a source critical data analysis, hopefully to benefit people that support both Western power structures actions and people that criticize them, as well as all power structures. Enough about me. We are focusing on Pentagon Cyber Command, which we euphemistically entitle Pentagon Cyberspace. We attempt to use a scientific approach. We attempt not to waste your time. And the subtitle is Online Military Operations and Their Risk of Abuse. So some notes preceding the actual meat of the matter. In an information war, people who say things you don't want them to say are like an enemy fortress to be destroyed or subverted. So if you become clinical about an information war, it can get quite interesting how people that potentially would pose counterweight to the sort of activities the Pentagon would like to see happen could be targeted in new ways. And the question is, what military models will be attempted online? If you're involving the military, you have to have some military model. So I want to look at Libya as a case study in what a cyber command would look like, because it's clearly dealing with not just online security, but the online information wars, because the online information wars deal with things like Al-Qaeda, and then all the people that share many of their sentiments that are not violent, let us say. So what happens is people that have highly controversial points of view end up in this matrix potentially, depending on how well it's administered. It's a tool that can be used for good or evil. The problem is that when you look in hindsight, there's a troubling track record of tools being abused, which we'll get into later. So the first issue is to look at the White House Libya policy track record, because we're doing a case study on Libya, and this will become clear as we go through this. So the White House has put out, and the media, a series of statements about Libya. So what we want to look at here in the White House Libya policy track record is what has the White House stated and what has transpired. With the benefit of hindsight, we can look at, have we been getting quality information from our media and our White House, which builds into the information analysis, let us say. So in the beginning, around February 18th to 21st, right when the rebellion broke out, a number of things came out. A disproportionate number of atrocities were attributable to the Gaddafi side. A massacre was about to happen. Where I have it hyperlinked, I have the source article, and I will post this presentation online with the hyperlink in this video in the comments. Gaddafi has no support. The UN mission can be interpreted law unseating government by NATO, which was my last major video, was exploring how UN 1973 is actually mechanically constructed. Then we go on to look at the idea that we can transfer funds from the government to the rebels. And it's not so much whether these are good ideas, it's to look at what happened when we opened the argument on each area, which ones have resolved since, and how do they reflect on those arguments. So I mention here that in this transfer case, Libyan Sanctions Committee must issue an opinion prior to direct act contravening the embargo to both sides. So the U.S. is the enforcer of this embargo along with NATO. Therefore, they must abide by it if they are intended to be the sheriff of it. Now, what actually has come out lately is that there are significant rebel atrocities that I haven't yet highlighted here, but John McCain warned the rebels that if the atrocities continue, they would lose their support, and he was their most ardent advocate, to give you an idea of the sort of news that is breaking. And accusations against Gaddafi supporters that later came out as untrue. So let's look at the Viagra rape story, for example. Okay, let's do it another way. I'm sorry, folks. All right. Okay, so I'm going to navigate over here for this. Okay. It's in the Irish Times that this article came out. The example I'm using, I beg your pardon, this won't happen again. Okay, this is a reported use of heavy weapons. It broke on the 21st. We are looking for the early allegations of rape here. Okay, let's see here. Let's look at this link. Okay, here it is. It's on MSNBC. So here is the article about using the various crimes against humanity here, killing unarmed civilians. And I believe this article, rape, here it goes, mercenaries, and so forth. Viagra rape story. And you'll see the word Viagra in here somewhere, I believe. Viagra, there it is. So that's what was alleged. And then I showed you the heavy weapons article already, which is the Irish Times. Where did we put the Irish Times? Oh dear. Just have to bring it back up. Irish Times. But you already saw the article. This alleges heavy weapon use against the rebels. Okay. And helicopters, armor-piercing, incendiary, 550 bullets a minute. Okay, these are the charges that are leveled. Okay, let's see here. Then what we do is we're going to follow this date line. So here's the article that finally breaks in the Western press. Now notice this is 5 months after the conflict has been underway virtually. Let's see, 2 to 7, yes. And this is when it finally broke, in my opinion, in the Western press, was on 7/6. And so they're still not, of course, going after it. They qualify by saying that women won't come forward. Women honor killings. Gaddafi implicated, deeply concerned, war crimes. Now let's look for the word amnesty. Here we go. Here he alleges Luis Moreno Campo from the ICC that Gaddafi himself decided rape. But we don't have any referenceable sources to this. This is just an allegation. It's a hypothesis. Whereas here, we have had an actual investigation by Doctors Without Borders and Amnesty International, and they have found no evidence of these rapes are being used in these as a systematic part of war strategy. So this is the Viagra rape story. Let's look at the heavy weapons story now. Which I have. Oh, actually, this is the actual reports. And, we have this particular report covers all the allegations really in a single report. And I am not presuming any data is correct. We're navigating what we can find. And we need confirmation. And so here was a group that went in to try to confirm it. Right? Okay, so here is what they end up saying. Let's see if we can find it. Let's say rape. The findings by the investigators appear to be at odds with the views of this Luis Ocampo. We have information who apparently he used it to punish people, is what he said. Let's see, Donatella Rovera, Senior Crisis Response, says that we have not found any evidence of a single victim of a rape or doctrine or anything about somebody being raped. This doesn't prove it occurs, but we haven't been able to find evidence. Okay, let's see if we have stuff about mercenaries. Rebels are repeatedly charged that mercenary troops have been used. Amnesty found there was no evidence for this. Those shown as rebels former mercenaries were later quietly released. Most were sub-Saharan migrants working in Libya without documents. Others were not so lucky. They were lynched or executed. She found 2 bodies in the morgue. Politicians kept talking about this, which inflamed public opinion. The NATO intervention started on March 19th to help civilians. There is no evidence that aircraft or heavy anti-aircraft machine guns were used. So this is extremely disturbing if true. It's showing that every one of the initial reasons to get the world into a state of mind where they would accept this that I have listed here are untrue. We do know that 300 protesters were reported to have been killed in Tripoli at the break of the uprising. That I have established. I've heard numbers as low as 140 civilians killed by the Libyan government. And we also have a new statement coming out with an estimate of 15,000 dead in Libya. So in the case of the government has no supporters, we will segue that one very quickly, if I can pull it for you. Okay, we are looking for the venerable YouTube, and we just go to one of my downloads of CNN, which is called Mackenzie with the reporter CNN, and in this case we're talking about large Tripoli. Let's see if that works. Here it is.
Thousands of people have gathered here on the 4th month, on the day, the anniversary since the uprisings began in the east of Libya. They've come out here with their green flags to show defiance, to show their support for Muammar Gaddafi and his regime. And they swell to the front in great numbers to hear an audio message from Brother Leader.
This is the first time they are facing an armed nation of millions. They will be defeated. The alliance will be defeated.
After more than 4,000 strike sorties on Libya, NATO doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. They say it's not just about military might, it's about political will. But if you see these scenes, if you listen to the sounds, and you test the will of the people here, there's really a sense that this crisis in Libya isn't ending anytime soon. Dan Mackenzie, CNN, Tripoli.
So this gives you an example of the myth we have here, that the government has no supporters. And of course, there's actually hundreds of these videos because since they can't directly counterattack on the physical level, the only way they can really counterattack is on the information level. That is the loyalists. That's a supposition. It's not exactly true. They've also done a lot on the military level, but only in defense and unable to kill a single Western soldier. Okay, the massacre was about to happen is now widely questioned, but I can't go through everything and be timely. Okay, so the next step is we've looked at this. Now we're